Carl Richell on the development of Cosmic over the past year.
Hey everyone, thanks for coming to my talk. Really appreciate it. It's cool that a lot of people are here for the first time for Linux Fest Northwest. This is kind of special for me because 1 year ago, this conference is the first talk I gave on Cosmic. We had been working on it for 2 years at that point. Now we're into our third year. And as you'll see, we've made a lot of progress over the last year. We're getting really close to first release. So last year, Maria was with me, and she's our UX architect that did a lot of the design that you'll see in Cosmic. And we talked about things like how Cosmic is a professionally designed desktop with a full design system. So when there are patterns that are designed into the system. So when you're building an app, and you build a Cosmic app, it feels like a Cosmic app. It looks like a Cosmic app. We talked about theming because that was something we're really proud of, and how people can customize the desktop to be their own. We talked about panels and how Cosmic has different panels and that you can lay out in different positions, and inside those panels you can have applications that we call applets. So they're small independent applications that run in their own process, and you can rearrange those in any order in any panel or dock that you'd like, so you can really create your own personalized workflow and set up the desktop the way you'd really like it to work. That was the kind of the core foundation why we talked about that this last year. This year I'm going to talk more about the application suite, because Cosmic has a full set of applications that have matured to the point of being really impressive, really great applications. So, and along with some other things that that we're proud of having completed over the last year. So first and foremost, this is what the first slide looked like last year, except it didn't say 1 year later, it just said Cosmic, because we didn't have a logo. And now we have a logo, so that's a nice addition to start with. A year ago, this is, and I just pulled this slide from our slides last year. This was what our settings looked like last year. We had desktop, input devices, displays. These weren't quite filled out. It was enough that, along with the applets in the top right, where you could choose your network. You notice there's no network over here. There's no Bluetooth. But combined with applets, there was enough there that it was usable, but it wasn't very filled out. 1 year on, settings has all the setting configuration and options that you would expect in a desktop. Like I mentioned, network and wireless and Bluetooth. Accessibility wasn't there before, and it is now. Displays is more robust. Desktop is more robust with more options. Configuration like window management. Window management will have some things like focus follows mouse, if you like that kind of functionality, and other window management features. Workspaces has horizontal and vertical workspaces depending on your preferences. Power and battery is more filled out. A year ago, if 15 minutes went by, your screen didn't go blank. If an hour went by, your screen didn't go blank. 2 days could go by and your screen wouldn't go blank. Now all of those things have been built in, and there's settings for configuring them. And so keep in mind with Cosmic, it's not like taking a lot of things that exist and building settings on top of them. Everything is written from scratch. So it's the entire desktop itself, the toolkit that all the graphics are built on, the applications are all written from scratch, all in Rust, and none of these things really existed 3 years ago when we started. Text shaping did not exist in Rust, and text rendering didn't exist, and so we built Cosmic Text. That's the layer at which we began building Cosmic. So when I say something like, well, the screen didn't go blank in 15 minutes and there was no setting, well, that's because we had to write Cosmic idle to actually manage those things. Input devices and applications are now there. Time applications has things like startup applications, settings for X11 compatibility. Cosmic is a Xwayland only desktop, but we have a robust X11 Xwayland compatibility layer that's quite unique. We'll go into that a bit as well. And systems accounts. We didn't even have users. You can have one user, or you go to the command line to create users. But now we have a GUI for that as I said at the beginning I wanted to talk about applications a bit because a lot of these talks I've been around the country and even went out to the Netherlands. I've given a lot of Cosmic talks and they've all been about tiling and workspaces and all these things, but I haven't talked about applications. And since then I've made it all the way around to Linux West Northwest again. I want to talk about apps. Cosmic Files was a nice file browser a year ago. You could browse around things, you could launch things, but that was about it. Today it's become this really robust and full-featured file browser. It has a dedicated or a window on the side that you can open. You can leave that open if you prefer to have your files listed in this kind of narrow way with a preview always available. You can configure that in settings. If not, you can turn it off and then you can press Control and the space bar and it'll show you the details for the file. You can see some buttons at the top left of this display here. You can browse left and right through your pictures that way. Next to that is a small gallery icon. If you click the gallery icon, it'll open up your pictures in a full gallery view inside of the file browser. And you can use the arrows on the left. So if you're in a pictures folder, you can press the space bar, or as I mentioned, click that maximize or the gallery button. And you can browse, use left or right arrows, or you can click the arrows on the side, and you can browse through all the photos inside your folder. Some other features in Cosmic Files we've added over the year. Recents, so things that you've accessed recently are easily accessible. You can compress files with or without a password. We don't have decompressing in yet. Currently we're still using GNOME utility for extracting compressed files. Eventually we're going to build that into Cosmic Files as well. And our vision for that is you'd be able to double click on a compressed file and it would actually open inside of a folder inside of Cosmic Files, and you can choose to extract it permanently with a button instead of opening separate apps. So a lot of things built in. We have a sort menu now. You could browse your files, but you couldn't sort them. Now you can sort by all the regular means that you would expect, alphabetically, either direction or most recently modified, and so forth. Type to search is a pretty cool feature that we've added. There's two ways to type to search in Cosmic Files. This means when you launch the application and you start typing, what happens? By default, when you start typing, it's just going to search the directory you're in and all the subfolders. So it'll open go back here, there's a magnifying glass up on the top right. If you start typing, that'll open up and your search query will start filtering all the files where you're at. You notice there's breadcrumbs at the top. It says Home and then Pictures. If I were to start typing here, we'd search Pictures and everything underneath. If I then clicked Home, then it would search Home and everything underneath automatically. So it makes it pretty quick. The other way that search can work in settings, you can change it to, it's like a type to seek almost, but it's but it actually enters the path in the directory, to the directory of the file. So at the top here, you see Home and Pictures. If I started typing, if I changed the setting to that option, if I started typing SCR, then the breadcrumb would start filling out the screenshot. And then the next file, and the next file. And then when I got to the actual file I wanted to press enter, it would go directly to that file inside of the view, and then press enter to open. So it's kind of like type to seek that's available, I think, in Dolphin and Nemo and some others. But we wanted to offer that in Cosmic Files as well. Runs executables now, can connect and browse network resources, and Cosmic Files provides desktop icons. So Cosmic has desktop icons, and that functionality is provided through Cosmic Files. This is Cosmic Store. New in Cosmic Store is made for Cosmic section, because there's this really friendly, great community of folks that are all working together to build Cosmic apps. So the Cosmic app ecosystem outside of System 76 is starting to grow as well. There are things like, is Adam here? Adam. He's not here. Adam is, I know he comes to the Linux Festival Northwest, but he's writing a system monitor application called Observatory. It's a really cool app with nice graphs. You can see what processes are running, how your system resources are being used, how much memory is being used, and so forth, and all written by the community. Another community member is Ed, and he's he's an awesome guy. It's written quite a few apps like tasks and forecasts and some others. Pretty sure he did forecasts. So the community of people building apps using libcosmic is starting to grow as well. Cosmic Store is really fast. I think that's one of the most impressive parts of using it. Once you open it, it loads all the applications available really quickly. Over the last year, we added app details. So that's when you go into the app, you can see versions, what license we use, or the license for the application, links to app resources like its homepage, help, and so forth. And you can install and remove local debs and flatpaks. So if you have a flatpak ref that you downloaded or a deb you downloaded, and you double click on it, it'll install in Cosmic Store. It'll retain that information, so if you search for the application again, you can remove it, so it's not just floating around in the memory. And always visible operations. This is pretty nice because you might have, maybe it's been a while since you updated, and you have 100 updates. And you click Update All, but now you want to browse around at other applications. As you start to browse applications, you can see the progress of the installation for your upgrade at the bottom in the footer. It's a nice touch because you don't feel lost. Then you can reopen it and see where you're staying. And I figured we're in Washington. If we're talking about a media player, we should have Nirvana. Cosmic Player didn't exist last year. Now we have Cosmic Player, which is a really streamlined and sleek media player for music and video files. It does support, one thing I forgot to mention at the beginning. If you notice here, this is purple with a panel on the bottom. These are these nice oranges and browns, the panel at the top and a dock at the bottom. So as I've been going through each slide, these are screenshots from Cosmic and illustrate how much you can customize Cosmic, both the way it looks and the layout, to something whatever your personal preferences are. This one really shows it off for me because I have nothing but applets in the bottom floating on the screen, and the bar is transparent, and so I think it has a nice clean look. If you don't really depend on a dock, or you don't need a dock, you don't have to have it. We could also have app icons down here floating in transparent space if we wanted to. But back to Cosmic Media Player. So on the left-hand side is the nav bar, and what I've done here is just loaded an album, and it shows me all of the songs in that album. You can load any number of them. So it's got quite a few good features, but there's still more. We're not done with anything, so there's more to come. It's hardware accelerated. Impress support. Do you guys know what Impress support is? Impress means that it's basically the method by which media players can export what's happening inside of them, what's playing in them, to the rest of the desktop. That way, inside of your volume control, you can see this album's playing, and you can fast forward or go to the next song or previous song and so forth. Impress is actually quite robust. There's a lot of functionality and features in Impress. Cosmic Media Player supports subtitles. Album art when available, and on the roadmap for the first release, it will also recognize whether the codecs are available for the media you're playing and offer to install them for you. I want to touch on Cosmic Terminal a bit as well, because Cosmic Terminal has become a quite feature-rich terminal. In Cosmic Terminal, we have tabs, vertical and horizontal splits. It supports ligatures. And something we're very proud of is it supports full bidirectional font support and font shaping. That's unique among terminals. And I think what this does is help make Linux more accessible to language that right-to-left languages. Yes?
You've used the term font shaping or text shaping twice now. I don't know what that is.
Well, every font in Unicode is shaped on your screen, and so that's and I'm no expert on this. Jeremy Soller wrote the function.
Yeah. Some languages, such as Persian, Arabic, when you have two separate characters coming next to one another, the shape can change depending on where they sit next to one another. It's not in Latin. You have some of that in typesetting and ligatures and such, but it mostly applies to for general.
All right, yeah, thank you for that. I think graphene clustering is also a big part of that as well, for international support. The custom terminal is GPU rendered, and for making it like feel the way you really like your terminal to feel, you can hide the header, and custom color schemes, and exploits transparency as well. Yeah.
Is there the ability to like say, if you had 5 tabs open, naming the tabs, and then the next time you open it, they would be there and named what you wanted them?
We don't have that, but that's I think it's a pretty interesting idea. I think that's the way I think of that is like saving your session. And so it's something we've talked about, like when you close your terminal, do you want to keep your session open with the number of tabs that you have? We've thought about that with Cosmic Text as well, or text editor. It does support profiles though, so you can easily configure profiles and launch new profiles if you're you say you have a terminal profile that's logs into a specific virtual machine or operating system. In Cosmic, we've added quite a bit of functionality for X11 and Xwayland's compatibility. The first one is global shortcuts. Global shortcuts are really important for things like push to talk in Discord or push to mute, or if you're using OBS and you want to modify where your camera view is. If you're in Wayland, each applications can't see each other's keystrokes. So if you have focus on an application, another application doesn't see anything that you're pressing. And it's a security privacy feature of Wayland. But there are legacy applications that still require that for just really basic functional use, because they don't support more recent portals yet for keyboard shortcuts. So what this compatibility does is means if you have focus on a game and you also have Discord open, you could press a modifier key and M for mute, for instance. That wouldn't work normally without global shortcuts being built into the desktop and on a Wayland pure desktop. We also have application scaling settings that have been built out for different type of different preferences. So you can choose to optimize for gaming, which means full screen apps and games will run at the native resolution of the display that they're on, even if you've scaled that display in the operating system. Or you can optimize for applications, meaning what we'll do is match the fractional scaling in the application, if it supports it, to the fractional scaling of the desktop for the most crisp appearance as possible. Or maximum compatibility mode, if there's an application, an X11 application that while you're fractionally scaling your desktop isn't working very well, that mode is there because it might be something that particular app requires. Some games also prefer to have a preferred display. Cosmic doesn't have a preferred display. We treat each display as having the same presence as any other display. So every display can have panels and docks, and you can add and remove different displays, but not one display is your preferred display. The reason we chose to do that is because as we surveyed our customers, we found that a very large percentage, something like 70% of our customers all use multiple displays. So because they use multiple displays, we put a lot of effort in making multiple display effort the same. And if you have 3 displays, and this one has the panel on it because it's the preferred display, or then you don't have the same access to features on the other displays. That's the reason Cosmic doesn't have separate ones. But some games do prefer, want to have a preferred display. They want to know where the game is running, and so we have an option there for compatibility for those Proton games. We've put a lot of work into accessibility as well. Especially, we have quite a bit with vision and a hearing setting. So magnifier, high contrast mode, invert colors, and color filters. I think these are easier to demonstrate, so I'll show you where we're at with this. We're pretty proud of the magnifier in particular. I was talking to, I was on the Destination Linux podcast a week ago and talking to Jill about her, one of the opportunities I've had going around is I've got to talk to people with different levels of vision impairment or capabilities. And in doing so, learned a lot about their kind of needs, of what things are working on current desktops and what things aren't working on desktops. And so we're able to apply those. So in Cosmic, if we open a couple of apps, one of the things I didn't realize is we thought having shortcuts like super zoom would be like the preferred method for people to zoom into their desktop in different areas. Well, it turns out that that's not the case at all. The more modern way is super and scroll. That's because it's much easier to get to the area you're looking for if you kind of are in the area where the cursor is and zoom into it. I'm really glad this is working because I tested on multiple displays, but I never tested it on a clone display. So it's nice that it's working. So we're pretty proud of that work. Jill had told me that there was a game that she wasn't able to play on Linux because the characters were too small, and thanks to being able to press super and scroll, she'd get into the characters and see them play a game that she couldn't play before. I think that's the very definition of accessibility and you know, why we work on it. Let's see, other settings. High contrast mode, you'll notice that there's kind of a thin line between these list views. When we add high contrast mode, it just darkens all the lines around selections. The nice thing about high contrast mode too is it also will apply to any application that picks up the system setting, meaning Firefox and Thunderbird will also go into high contrast mode when it's activated. We have invert colors, which I think, let's turn off tiling here. I think it looks pretty cool with this background when we invert the colors. So it's just taking every color and flipping it to its opposite version. We also have color filters for different versions or different types of color weakness. Grayscale for like general eye fatigue, or if it's hard to discern colors in general, grayscale is helpful. Deuteropia for green and red weakness. Protanopia for red and green weakness, and Tritanopia for blue and yellow weakness. And we also have a setting for playing stereo as mono. This is also another thing that I just learned over time with as we worked more on accessibility. One of the problems is a lot of times folks will have limited hearing in one ear and not the other. And so if we're so if you have something that's playing in stereo, they can hear maybe the beat on one side, but can't hear the audio, the lyrics, because it's on the other side, or it's moving from side to side. So that's why mono is really important for hearing accessibility. It'll combine all stereo channels into a single channel. See. All right, and Cosmic release. So last Thursday we released Alpha 7. So it's been, what we're doing once a month, but we skipped a month. So it's been 8 months since the first Alpha, and we're largely feature complete. I say largely because a lot of times when someone sees something that feels like it's missing, like it's a bug, a lot of times that's actually a feature. It's just something that the support hasn't been written for yet. So we're largely feature complete. All the big features are done, but there are some of the smaller ones that will kind of paper cuts that will improve the desktop experience. Next is our beta release, and then we're on to the first release. So I'm hoping it's probably, I would hope, a couple of months. I'm not supposed to give estimates anymore, but it shouldn't be too long, and we'll finally have our first release. One thing I want to really, I think, so why that's really unique is that in the course of 3 years, we've gone from absolute zero to design and implementation of an entire desktop environment and an application suite for that desktop environment over 3 years. That's really, really fast, actually. So that first release was important to me. Yeah, it's been 3 years, but one of the reasons that we did this is because the next year, if we built an entire desktop in a year, what can we do in a year once it's been built and stable? I think we're going to be able to move very quickly and adding new features, responding to our customers and our users' needs, and just establishing a speed and kind of motivation behind Linux desktop that moves really, really fast for implementing new features and capabilities over time. So soon, yeah, on to first release.